Good morning, YouTube. Today, we're going to try and fix some of the plastic parts on the Ferrari 458 Eternia.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan, and this is my garage, and this channel is all about the supercar ownership experience, and this is kind of an anomaly in the supercar ownership experience. This is the Ferrari 458 Eternia, which, if you don't know the history, was owned by Tyler Hoovey of Hoovey's Garage. Prior to that, it was wrecked. And prior to that, it was probably a rental car. Well, if we think it, we pretty much know it was a rental car. So it was a rental car. It got totaled. It got fixed poorly. It was owned by Hoovey. It was put on CarTrek, and now we own it, and it's in bad shape. So we're gonna try and fix some of the plastic parts because they're destroyed. And this is one of those cars where there's probably over $10,000 in plastic parts that are cracked or destroyed, and so I don't think anyone wants to spend $10,000 on plastic trim panels and stuff that aren't really visible. So let me show you what we're talking about. We'll try and do our best to fix them. And the goal is not to make them look necessarily perfect. It's more like to have them be structurally okay, not flapping around in the wind and getting worse. So just to set the expectations clear, I don't think these are going to be looking beautiful and brand new. Please like, share, and subscribe. That does support us. We do appreciate your help, but you guys can do that. And of course, hit the notification bell so that you guys find out when our videos come out. And finally, go check out normalguyssupercar.com. We do appreciate when you guys could buy parts and services from our website. That does help support the channel. That's actually how we keep this whole thing running. So thank you so much. All right, guys, let's have at it. Momo, are you my shop dog today? He's going around inspecting the floors. Good job. Keep those floors clean. All right, YouTube, we've got a pile of parts. So all these plastic trim panels. Believe it or not, the big under tray, Hoovey bought that, so it's actually in good shape. It was missing when he bought it, but things like this, so like, you know, this you can see is just completely cracked, and that's about to fall apart. So what we're going to try and do is just make it so that they're structurally sound. I don't really care if it looks good. I just want it to not get worse. You can see like there's just cracks everywhere. I'm assuming the accident, all of these fender liners got destroyed or beat up, so there's more there. And then the bottom tub right there, that thing's in terrible shape. I swear if you put some luggage in there, it's going to fall through. So we're going to try and fix all of these. And I bought a little plastic welder thing, staple thing. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. It's going to look terrible, but we're going to try and fix some stuff using that. Yeah, I know someone who can do this like really well is going to look at this and be like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen, but I don't care. All right, YouTube, we've got my little plastic welder. Basically what it does is just connects these little pieces right here, and it heats them up, and once they get really hot, you just kind of embed them into the plastic, I guess theoretically. And there's like different shapes, you know, there's little waves and corners and flat ones and stuff. And then there's even like a spade, which I'm assuming you can kind of like use this to like heat up and kind of melt the other sides together. So we'll start off with just stapling some shit first. Stuff like that. You can't use a bolt right there. In fact, when we were removing the fender liner, we literally didn't even unscrew that bolt. It just poof, popped right over it. So that kind of stuff is problematic, and this piece is pretty close to just falling apart. All right, you can see I've got my little staple there. So we'll turn it on. It'll heat that staple up, and then we'll embed it into the plastic, I guess, in theory. I've never done this before, so that's what I think it does. All right, so I did the first one, and it works, but you obviously kind of got to be a little bit careful. So install this. There's a button here. I did too many watts. I did 65 watts. That got it really hot and almost went through the plastic. So I'm going to turn it down to 45 watts. We'll see if this works a little better. But basically, just kind of need to hold the plastic. Right here's the crack. So let's find a good way to angle it like that. And then you'll see it'll get red hot. Gets hot, and then there. Hold it in place for a second, wait for it to cool down. And voila, definitely need another one there and there. There's a, a lot of damage on this thing. Gets red hot. Whoa, that one may have gone a bit far. Starting to get structurally okay here. I need a couple more. I want to make sure it's not coming through on the other side. That one did. So you really got to be careful on how far you push them through. So this guy came through, so I'm gonna do another one there. Oh, that's like kind of beat up right there. I might even want less wattage. I might be going too hard on the wattage. That's the way to do it. Hold it to the plastic, then push the button, and then as soon as it kind of embeds, just wait a second. There. Oh, that's way better. Okay, now I'm starting to get it. Okay, let's put a piece down here. Much better. Yeah, there's a bunch of missing plastic on that piece, so I gotta kind of be a little bit gentle on that one. Again, the goal is not to make it look perfect, just to make it structurally better. So one or two more in this and we'll be good. Now we take the little snips and we cut the metal little tabs off. Okay, I think diagonal cutters are gonna work better than these. So obviously on this side it doesn't look great, right? But first of all, you remember I could just push it around and it was flexing and bending. So now, here's the thing though. You look on this side, and yeah, I busted through a couple times because I was kind of learning, but that now could actually hold a bolt. Woohoo! We need to tidy up a couple other spots on this panel, like right here. I just don't want those cracks spreading further, so we'll probably put some there. And there's a couple other spots like here. This piece is really getting loose, like it's gonna fall off, so we want to fix that up too. Okay, got the first panel. So unfortunately there's a bunch of insulation on this section of the panel, and so I couldn't do it from the other side, so it will be on the visible side. But you can see this actually feels so much more sturdy now. So you know what? I probably need to put another stapler too right there. But I kind of stapled any of the big cracks. I kind of put staples at the beginning and end of the crack to kind of stop it from spreading. Also, I got smarter later and I realized with the zigzag ones, I should put them like lengthwise so it zigzags across the crack and not like that. So that's, I guess, wrong, and that is good. Some of the things I couldn't try and fix because the panel is just so destroyed. You know, like right here, it's just gone, so there's nothing I can do about that. I guess the good news is it feels pretty solid right there. It doesn't feel like it's spreading, but this one is a big concern. I felt like this was really about to let go. So the trick I'm doing now is you just kind of tap the button a few times until it gets hot enough, and then the staple just kind of insets into the plastic, and then you let go. And then hold it there for about 1 second for it to dry. So it's pretty simple. So I guess what's kind of cool about this is I can actually do some of these panels while they're still in the car. Obviously, I just want to make sure I'm not going too hot and getting anywhere near anything bad. So you can see right here, right there's a pretty torn up piece of plastic. And I think I could actually hear this flapping in the wind. And I fear if I take this out, it's just going to disintegrate. So I want to kind of hold that in place and get a bunch of staples in there to really help that thing out. So let's try and fix that one. That one's really bad. So the more I stared at it, the more I was like, you know what, let's pull out the fender and the liner and do it right and do it from the other side, because there isn't any insulation, so I will be able to get pretty good access and be able to do that from the other side. So let's pop this sucker out. It's gonna be a little, I gotta be really careful not to destroy this as we're removing it, because it is so messed up. I mean, it is like super thin right here. So it's going to be a little bit tricky. We do have to pull off the front one to get off the rear one. Okay, we're looking at the fender liner now that we got it out, and you can see just how badly mangled this is. So we got to repair all of that. This huge crack here. There's a few other cracks. So we're going to try and get this as good as possible. So if nothing else, like I said, I just want it to be structurally sound so that this thing isn't flapping around the wind or coming apart later on. Okay, YouTube, so here is my sort of handiwork. I did screw up and blew one through right there. You can see it popped right through. So the thing I'm learning is the best way to do it is you actually put the staple on the spot you want, then just keep tapping the button until it embeds itself. The other thing is it's easier to do the thinner staples than the thicker ones. And the reason is the thicker ones retain the heat longer, so then they kept melting as it cooled, versus these little ones cooled down really quick, and so they're much easier to work with. So I would do the 0.6 millimeter, not the 0.8 millimeter. Those ones are harder to work with. As you can see, look at this. I can actually pick it up by that section now. If we turn it around, you can see it doesn't look half bad. I mean, that's actually decent. It certainly holds really well, so that's great. I mean, that's going to hold so much better and actually stay in place longer. This one, you know, also stop flexing so much. Obviously, if you have a pristine car, this is not an ideal solution, but, you know, for something like this, where it's a salvage car and we don't want to spend $10,000 on plastic parts, this is great. As long as we got the fender liners off, I wanted to show you some of the damage. Obviously, all of this frame has been replaced because it's not painted. All this would be painted normally, and you can see the welds and everything. What's interesting is right here, this is all damaged. So I think the wheel must have like folded in, and it actually punctured a hole right through right there. This is all bent up. This is all like scraped and bent up. So all of this, obviously, like the suspension was collapsed or something. So I have to assume all of these mounting brackets for the suspension have been replaced. But generally looks pretty good. I mean, it's not terrible. So, and the frame itself is structurally intact, so that's great. I mean, you can see there's a chip on the bottom of the frame right there, but most of it looks really good. All right, so moving on to the big mamma jamma, we've got the front trunk tub, and you can see it got shattered really hard. This entire piece is cracked. So I need to get this to at least be stable. The downside is it's not going to be watertight. These are pretty expensive because of the shipping. I mean, it's a giant piece of plastic, and so you can't exactly like fold it up. We're just going to try and do what we can to at least keep this from being worse. Most of them I should be able to get from the inside, and then the carpet will cover it and you'll never see them. Okay, YouTube, so you can see it doesn't exactly make it look the nicest thing you've ever seen, you know, with these little squiggly lines, but this is all going to be covered by carpet, and it actually is holding pretty solid. So, I mean, you know, can no longer flex on this, and it no longer separates. And the downside is I couldn't get to these from the inside, so I had to do them from the outside. But again, this is like a couple $1,000 part, and we just fixed it for, well, this kit cost less than $100. We saved probably about $10,000 not replacing these, which again, on a normal car, like if it's really good condition, you probably would want to replace these, but on this salvage car, okay, yeah, this is the kind of stuff that you want to do just to have it so it's functional. We don't care about how good it looks. Okay, YouTube, got it all back together. Well, at least we got what we wanted to back together, so those pieces should stay pretty good. They actually, like, they're pretty solid now. I'm impressed. We'll see how they hold up after we actually drive it, but I think they'll do fine. Now we just gotta get a few more things done with this. We gotta get it put back together. Gotta get rid of all the gold. So we got lots more to come on the 458 Eternia. So like, share, and subscribe if you'd like this content, and we'll be having more of it coming your way. Also hit the notification bell, because then you get notified when we actually produce our videos. And if you have the time, go check out normalguyssupercar.com. We do appreciate it when you guys can help us out and buy parts and services through our website. Thank you so much to all of you that have been supporting us. We do appreciate it. It's been a long journey, but here we are. All right, guys, we're going to keep working on the 458 Eternia, so you're going to want to stay tuned. It's going to be sweet.